Alright, take 2 of Overpass Basics. This is more like take 4. I'm going to say take 2 so it sounds like I've put less time into it. Alright, so we'll start off playing versus pistols. Okay, so this can pretty much work for every single map, but the idea is you have like a mixture of SMGs and rifles, and you got to hold like the whole map to make sure they don't push something and take map control. So if you're playing like an isolated spot, so I'll say first, we're playing one connector, one guy towards A and 3 towards B. The guy connector plays with an SMG, and you might think, well, if I have a rifle, I can just kill all of them because this is long range. But the problem is if you miss, don't instantly kill all of them, then you're going to give up a rifle as well as like the most important part of the map. Losing connector is a big deal, but if you drop them a rifle as well, then they can potentially win the round because not all 5 of us have rifles, so it's kind of hard for a rifle to, for an SMG to kill a rifler, right? So yeah. If you're isolated, you need to play with an SMG, and then you just hold them up like this, make sure they don't take connector. The A guy is like probably gonna be me because I love getting EQ frags, but this guy runs around like a psychopath with an SMG, and all he does is make sure the CTs haven't pushed A, and he like counts players. So if he runs around here and then he gets instantly killed by like 4 people pushing A, then your 3 goes towards B can immediately take B. So you see how this is better than just a random default where everyone's spread around, because if I instantly die along and then I've also got a teammate back here, or a teammate here, and then a teammate connector and one guy B, then you can't react off of that, right? When you're against pistols, they're going to do something grouped up together like 90% of the time because that's the only way they can win with pistols. So that's how you play with pistols on T side. Okay. Alright, so some really basic B smokes. For cash, everyone knows how to smoke highway. For overpass, everyone should know how to smoke heaven. So you just get yourself into this thing here, and you aim at like this triangle on this pylon. Just aim. Voice crack didn't happen. You aim, and that smokes heaven like that. Easy peasy. This guy here usually will be like the full nade set guy, and he can do all these nades. So you just one guy should just hopefully not, have a full nade set. He can smoke heaven. Then he can Molotov barrel, which is also important. You just aim to the left of the pillar, run through, Molotov's barrels. Wow, and then you can flash in pretty much the same spot, just left of the pillar. And the good thing with this flash is that anyone running short can pretty much run with it. He can dodge quickly, but then he can not get blinded. Anybody running at monster doesn't have to dodge whatsoever because it pops behind this pillar, so they can just run like this, which is really important and really good as a terrorist. And then all the CTs that are defending, because they're looking in this direction, because it's a B here and the choke points are in front of them, they're all going to get blinded by this flash. So really, really good flash that. Obviously that's not, the best B execute you can ever do, but because this is just a basics video, it's not, I don't want to make it too intense, but if you're really keen, wedging yourself on this corner here, and then throwing a smoke at the top of this column here, this is like a really cheeky smoke. Think of it kind of like an A main smoke where you can boost above it. It's the kind of thing you do if you're a little faggot. So you smoke that along with like a normal B smoke, and then you can one guy can walk through here and kill anyone that's in water, because the CTs will most likely be playing looking in this direction. If they see smoke on the right, they might not assume, oh, he's gonna walk through it, even though to be honest there's quite a big gap. But you can easily catch CTs pushing, especially since they'll be blind because of the flashes. And after plants and planting the bomb, it's important if you plant here that your teammates don't all rush forwards to get EQ to get more frags and help. Say you like clear B, like now it's a 3v3, and you plant default, and then one of your teammates runs through here. He could be losing the game for you because say they all rotate from behind, they all come monster and short B, then he's completely useless because he now can't look at the bomb. So if you plant default, you all play behind the site. You play like, I mean, you could maybe play one under heaven and then like double monster and short B, but preferably you're all like behind the bomb. If your teammates are already in front of the bomb, like 2 people here and heaven smoke, then you should be playing for heaven like this. Okay, and then some just general tips that I've seen us fuck up and get wrong is people try hard again. People will see this smoke here and then for some reason just say, "Oh, they smoked mid," and then just like look into it and die. Like you can't. This is smokes are one way for the CTs, so it's important. So pretty much every single round, the first guy should be throwing a flash like that, just bouncing it off the wall, and then getting across, so you don't get picked by an AWPer. I've never really seen a CT AWPer T AWPer try and contest because it's just impossible to see anyone boosting above it. So it's better to just flash, maybe nade if you see that smoke. But yeah, that's how you deal with A. Just that's a small thing. If you're the connector guy, you don't want to be taking this peak unless you have the spawn for it, because if the CT has a spawn, it'll kill you. If you're rifling, Yeah, this is a really strong spot. You get on that crate and then you kill them as they try to walk push it. Again, connector is like a really important spot, and you have to like try and stay in sync with your A players. If you're one connector and two towards A, your two A players are still back here holding, and then you decide to try and walk up connector. Oh, for God's sake, where the fuck am I? Hello? Connector? There it is. And you try and walk connector. You see, if you die now, your teammates can't trade you, but if you walk towards connector at the same speed or in sync with your teammates taking mid, and you die in connector, then your teammates can kill them as they try and exit towards A, or they'll just trap them in. So it's important to stay in sync. Short B is pretty much like the mid of cash, so like as well as connector, they're both considered mid. At least I think they're considered mid anyway. You can't rotate quickly through the map towards B or A if you don't have short B control. So it's important that you have this part of the map at all times before you do anything. So it's really important that you take it with multiple people, because the CTs will try and contest it as it is mid, so CTs will try and defend it. But this flash is just a really good flash. It blinds anybody that's playing short B. It's impossible for them to see it coming, so if your teammates are running, you can say, you guys go through short pipe and take short B, you throw that flash at the same time, and they come out and everyone's blind, and they have short B control. If you're the short B player, then you should be playing around here where you can't get blinded, and you can just like hold short B like this. Anyone pushes through, you kill them. You also can choose to like walk through here and get frags, but you should only be doing that to try and like even up the round. Say it's your 4v5 down, that's when you don't want to be sat around doing nothing, that's when you want to make a play. But if you're like 5v4 up, you shouldn't be walking up and trying to take aim duels, because it's risky. Any other T stuff? No, that's it. Okay, CT side. I've been saying you should be playing together on A site overpass. A site overpass is a really hard site to hold, because all of this is I consider as A. It's not like A on cash where like A main is like not considered part of A, you know? This is really important that you hold all the toilets, or at least try to, because you can't defend. There's no choke point. This isn't really a choke point, so it's really hard. You can't just sit back on A site and just like AWP angle the whole round and expect to win. It might actually work in post bonus, but like realistically, not so much. So it's important you try and contest toilets and make the T's use all the utility trying to take toilets off of you, and they play slow. So if you show any kind of presence here, like that's how you smoke stairs, by the way, like a flash over that. That's a bad stair smoke. What the hell am I doing? Maybe it's something like this. And also you can smoke it like that. If you first round you do that, and then oh god, I'm so bad. And then like there's not usually a smoke back there. You can see that the smoke can get kills. Then every round after that, or at least for a few rounds, they'll like be much more wary of taking mid. If you never pressure mid, the T's will just confidently just like run through here with a rifle out and just take all this control for free. So it's important that you contest and you play together. So some good setups are this box holding top connector. I know Elliot, you're a fan of that. And then a rifler playing inside toilets. This is kind of a, if you're a good rifle, you can hold this angle, but not so much. You just hold off angles like this, so when they walk into you, just double tap from the M4. You can play here. This is a good setup as well. Like late round, after you've shown some presence, you can just fall back, have a rifler sit here, then an AWPer play default, and he's just jumping around. And if they start coming in, he can just get kills really easy. If you're a good AWPer, this is quite a difficult spot to be honest with you. But then you just save utility, and if they start coming in, you can smoke toilets like that for your teammate in this corner. And look, if you're a rifle here, this is like the best thing to see ever, because the T's have to run past you, and then you just kill them on the side. So yeah, A is quite hard, to be honest. So another thing is, some of you guys can't understand this now, but if you're holding a site, you don't play the spot that your teammates rotate into. I saw Casey, you motherfucker, if you're watching this, fuck you. If you play CT like this, and you're saying, oh, rotate, and I'm like, okay, I rotate, and then I come up here and I see you sat here, well, where am I meant to go? I can't go anywhere. So if you're defending a site, you need to play in a spot but you're not going to have teammates rotating into. That's pretty consistent across every situation, to be honest, but there are obviously going to be like some exceptions where you have to play CT. Say like you're in a 3v3 and you've got 2 on B, you probably don't want to be on site isolated then. So yeah, sometimes you want to be playing like back of the site, but most of the time not really. That's pretty much it. Oh no, against pistols, don't play aggressive, because they can really fast catch you down, and like one tag from a pistol will slow you down. And say you get hit once here, then now you're slowed and you're trying to run back up to A, and look how open it is, and you're gonna get fucked by pistols. So it's important you stay really far back, keep hold of utility. A good setup is just again another guy jump spotting default with a rifle, and a guy like here with a UMP or a rifle, and just like killing people as they come up, dropping molotovs like in front of you. It's fine. And then when your teammates rotate in, they can come up here and take more long-range duels. So that will segue into B, into when you're playing B against pistols, you want to have one guy heaven, because heaven is really strong when you know they can't smoke heaven. Not so much if they have smoked heaven, because if they smoke heaven in a BX, you've got to run all the round, or you got to go through smoke like a retard. So against pistols, heaven's really strong, and then in addition with that, a guy hiding barrels is good. Not my favorite, because if you're hiding barrels and then peek up, you could just be fighting at pistol close range. So I prefer to just play water with a rifle, to be honest. Like back here, just take long range duels and one guy back graffiti with a rifle. So this is just so easy. If you see pistols come in, you just get like easy kills, drop molotovs on the bomb, on the plant, so they can't plant the bomb. What else would be? Oh yeah, counter rush utility. So on some maps and some what am I thinking of? Fucking sites. On some sites you have to have like anti-rush utility almost every single round, else you're fucked. So Overpass is one of them. Your barrels guy should always be, or your monster guy should be molotoving in front of monster like that. Not inside the pipe, because if you molotov inside the pipe, they can get in front of it before it lands. So it's important you get it right here. And then if you're worried that they're going to rush you, you can throw a HE like in. I don't have a HE, but you can throw a HE in through the molotovs. And if they keep rushing, you can throw flashes like that and keep peeking with it. But yeah, barrels is like quite a difficult spot unless you're really sick. Dealing with the monster rush, it's important you get a molotov down, not a smoke straight away. Second B player, obviously this is kind of sweaty, but you can throw like flashes like that, just any kind of flash. Pop flashes anybody that's rushing monster. Some things you can do is like you can boost here, look over, you can boost on sight and look into connector, but it's important you've got a guy like barrel in both those situations so he can deal with people walking at monster. Also, hopefully there's no one short B, so they can like walk up and kill you in the side when you're not holding it. Don't use your smokes at the start of the round. B is easy if it's not a rush and you have utility and they start executing. If you see a bunch of smokes coming over and you sell the molotov, then one while here, that fucks their rush so much because they're now out of sync with the guys coming at monster, or you can double molotov and then they completely fucked because their smoke's going to be fading when you're rotating in. So saving utility is really strong. What was I going to say? Fuck. Disrupting like a rush as well. I was actually impressed because someone was saying, "Oh, I'll flash short B for you," and I think it actually worked as well. But if you don't know how to flash short B from B site, this is my favorite way to do it because it's like you're still in a good spot. You can just go to like the right of this pipe at the height of this tree and just flash over, and it blinds anybody that's holding short B. And then you can have your other teammates walk through short B and then kill anybody that's blinded. That's a really good thing to do. The most overpowered thing on B is just constantly jump spotting unless they've seen you. As soon as they see you, stop. But this is just ridiculous. You can just hold mid by just safely doing this. It's pretty much going to be guaranteed safe in pugs. Like really hard for them to just one tap you doing that. But as soon as you see that they've taken short B, that's when you start using your smokes. Don't just randomly smoke short B at the start of the round unless you know they're in short B. Flash peeking. B is easy to retake, so if you've got 3 people A, don't try and play like barrels and pillar. Play retake. So retake is when you just save your utility, you let them come in, and then you don't let them pass a certain point. So that certain point on Overpass is probably, well, there's 2 really. You can either not let them in water. So if you don't let them pass here and you're 5v5, you'll pretty much win that every single time unless you're like severely autistic. But if you haven't got any water, then you can retake. But the problem is like retaking through this is like really difficult. Like if you let them in water and up here, you have to like turn your back to all the sides. So it's really important that you just try and stop them getting to this point. So one guy water just chilling down here, and then one guy graffiti, maybe with an AWP. You just like hold back here, don't risk your life, and then let your teammates rotate in, and then you can just easy peasy smoke off short B. You can like flash anybody holding monster like that. You can get molotovs down, like smoke the bomb really easily. Like for smoking the bomb off the pillar is piss easy like that as well. Probably not. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Bye, love you.